Hello, Eridos here again, and I have another review for you. This is the Bumblebee Greatest Hits Transformers Soundwave and Boombox. This is, of course, Target exclusive. And yeah, look at that packaging. Normally I take this out of the packaging for review, but I want to appreciate the packaging before we actually review the toy itself. Looks nice in 80s. We've got speakers on this side. We've got Bumblebee with a traffic sign as a guitar, and of course we have the all the stuff we need to know on the back. There's kind of a interesting bio up here, if you can read that. I'm not sure if you can. And as you can see, yes, this is a repaint re-release of the Titans Return Soundwave. And of course, you can just pick it up from the handle right on the box. Now then, when I saw pictures of this on some of the fan sites, some people were concerned that the weapons were not included, when actually they're just in this little baggie on the side here. Out of sight, out of mind. So, yeah. Anyway, now that we've taken a look at the packaging, because I really wanted to show off the packaging beforehand, we'll look at the toy. Okay, now that we got Soundwave out of the packaging, we can now take a closer look at his Boombox mode. Now, I spent 2 days transforming this guy, trying to get to know him, not that way, and I also took some comparisons between this and the Titans Return version, and yes, this is pretty much the same toy as the Titans Return version from 2 years ago. The only differences are the deco and some of the remolding, which of course has the unfortunate side effect of the speakers not being flush to the ground, which I just noticed when I'm re-recording this. Yeah, this is my second attempt to re-record because I ran out of battery power. Anyway, the original Titans Return version was made to look like a modern music player with more stylized speakers that looked more modern. These are nice retro speakers that feel very much authentic, with the exception of the panel lining, of course. You can actually feel the ribs in the speaker cover here. And this area right here is slanted, which I don't believe the Titans Return version was slanted. This is just one flat piece. And because of the slant, they now added sticker detail here and here. This looks just like an AM/FM tuner, which I'm pretty sure this was supposed to be the... Well, I guess that's not supposed to be the tuner there. Maybe one of these up here. This looks like 80s detail of some kind. Maybe it's the volume control or something. I'm just guessing because there's no indication what this is supposed to be. There's, of course, the play, forward, back, record, stop buttons right there on what will be his crotch. There is, of course, 2 buttons right up here. This one's just molded in, and this is, of course, for the gimmick, which we'll get into a little bit later. When we go to the back, we see that there is storage for his weapons right here. This is supposed to look like a battery, but yeah, there's no real way to put it in there to make it look like a covered battery. But again, it's nice they have storage for the weapons. Now then, of course, this is Soundwave, so he has an opening tape deck, which we pull out a modern MP3 player looking like thing. Yeah, even has the play and pause button still molded in there, as well as some of the other buttons and details. Kind of breaks the 80s aesthetic when you have something this modern looking coming out of it. Now then, while we have this out quick, I do want to point out that the original version of this was yellow, not red. I also believe Let me just check here because I have the pictures just to bring up to make sure that I have all the details known. Yeah, these are supposed to be silver in the original, but they're black on this version. And of course, when we turn it around, we see Boombox right back there. As you can see, he looks like a little Soundwave. Dark gray, nice sculpting there. I wish there was a sticker there, but who cares? And of course, the yellow visor painted in. And when we turn him around, there is the head. And unfortunately, there is some paint scuffs on this. The visor up here is starting to scuff a little from the helmet, and this is starting to scuff a little when I was trying to fit it in this the first time around. I actually thought this was supposed to be where you're supposed to put it for storage. Barely would know that would be there. And yeah, they don't explain that in the instructions at all, which is kind of disappointing because I would have liked to known that this is where I was supposed to put the Titan Master. And speaking of the Titan Master, you can see his knees are a little loose. The hips still have a bit of solidness to them, so do the shoulders are tight. The ball joint in the head is still tight, but the knees are very loose, and I think that's more to mold degradation than anything, because the original Titan Masters, they had some pretty solid joints at first, but then as the line went on and they started reusing more and more of the parts, the knees were usually the ones that started to go first. And even the Prime Masters have loose parts due to all of the reused parts from the Titan Masters. So, wait, we better keep that down because next we are going to look at the base mode. First things first, we're going to fold these out. We're going to take these arms and, yeah, it's pretty obvious these are supposed to be the arms. And we're just going to fold them out like so and then fold this a few clicks until these two pegs right here are facing up, because that's where the Titan Masters are supposed to be standing. And fold out the guns. Going to do the same over here. Yeah, you can just go right from Boombox mode to this mode. Next, we are going to fold out these panels here. I'm going to be very careful for reasons that I will show you as soon as I get this out, because not sure how well it's showing up on the camera, but there is a stress mark right there. I'm not sure if that was there before or if it's just starting, but yeah, it's starting to stress there. We're also going to fold out these little towers on each end. We're going to fold out the little command center right here, which has that little targeting reticule. And next we are going to take the weapons off the back, pop them off. We're going to take the missile launcher here, and we're just going to pop that right on there, fold out the ramp, and we're going to take the gun here, plug that in to the hole right there. And finally, we're going to take this thing and just clip it onto the top like so, and we'll just take Boombox and just seat him right up there. And there we have his base mode. I kind of like this because it reminds me of the Computer Warrior series from Mattel, because those were toys back in the early 90s that were regular household items that turned to bases. I had the book and the Pepsi can when I was a kid, and this definitely reminds me of that kind of style. When we have him open, as you can see, this area is painted completely black, while this area over here is painted completely silver. If I am looking at the pictures correctly, there is supposed to be some silver detail over here, and there's supposed to be some black on these four areas over here. But this actually looks like these are the speakers behind the speaker covers, which is a nice little touch, which looks like you're actually taking the Boombox apart and making it into something else. Now let's see. These ramps are double hinged. You can just put them like that, or you can put them upwards like this. These ramps are for connecting to the other base modes. I am not going to demonstrate this with Triptychon because Triptychon would not fit on this table. Seriously, I'm having hard enough keeping this in frame as it is. So, yeah, we're going to start putting this in robot mode. Now, you're wondering why I've only pointed out the details here and here. We'll talk about the rest of the paint apps when we get into robot mode. So we're going to fold the ramps back in, make sure that the edges are flush, fold these up, fold, oh wait, I got that backwards. This piece folds in first, this piece folds in second. We're going to take Boombox out of here. Oh yeah, I guess I should point out the instructions did point out this has a vehicle mode by just plugging the gun in there. There, vehicle mode. Not going to use it, but it's something that I have to point out for the review. We're going to just put that back in there for storage because that's the only place you can store it. Fold those back up. Fold these back in. And we're going to pop out the legs. This one's kind of stiff. I'm going to move this down just a little so I have more room to work. And there we go. I'm going to snap that because there's a notch in there that goes, that has that fit in there. I'm going to fold the legs by the second joint so that the toe is in the proper orientation. There's a slot and notch there that plug in like so. And these two notches go into those two grooves there. Might have to just pop that out just a little. And of course we are going to pop out the toes like so. And I'm just going to try to go quickly over this one. Okay, let's pop that. And get that clipped in like so. So we have his legs. His arms, we're just going to rotate, flip out the fist. Get one click there. We're going to take the handle, rotate it all the way back. We're going to flip this piece out for reasons that will be made obvious shortly. Fold up the Titan Master into his head mode, and there's a problem with these heads. This is just a gimmick line thing, and that's when you're trying to fit it into here, it doesn't always work like it's supposed to. As you can see, I can't get it in there without feeling like I'm forcing it. Whereas if I flip the head around, I can actually just slide it into place like so. Yeah. This is something a lot of Titan Masters did. Sometimes they fit in like they're supposed to. Sometimes you have to fit them in backwards to get them to snap in. You can see the little tab on his feet just slides into that little slot there. We're going to pop out the helmet. See, there's two pegs there that go into holes in the back of the combined mode head. Going to make sure everything's lined up and just flip down the helmet. Oh, his toe kind of there. We're going to take the missile launcher, plug it right into his shoulder there. Going to take his gun, pop it into his hand like so. And we have our Soundwave in robot mode. Let me just adjust the camera. Get a nice look at him. And as you can see, he is a bit different than he was in the Titans Return version. So let's look over all of the details that have changed. First off, blue is darker than the Titans Return version. The gray is darker too. The missile launcher actually has red in it rather than just flat black. The gun is gray instead of blue. The legs are completely remolded. He actually has knee pads, which is why his speakers don't sit flush on the ground. The details here are resculpted. The original only had one yellow strip and just flat, whereas you can see there's 3 tiers and the yellow's right here. Torso's about the same. This is a little paler yellow, not the more vibrant. Same with the visor. The sides of the head have blue instead of silver. The shoulders are now gray and silver instead of red. He still has the red band on his wrist. And his helmet right here, the original was silver, this is black. As for the changes, I believe, I can't be sure, but I believe this is supposed to be animation accurate, whereas the Titans Return version is, hang on just a second, let me just readjust my camera here. The Titans Return version is supposed to be toy accurate, whereas, as I said, this is supposed to be show accurate. His gimmick still works like it's supposed to. And let's look at the other part of the gimmick, and that is the cassettes. Yeah, these are my Titans Return cassettes, and of course they fit right in there, like so. However, it is worth mentioning that they only fit one way. If you try to fit them the other way, they're not going to fit too well. Same with this one right here. That fits just fine. That, not so much. Almost got caught in there. Now, let's put the thing back there. It is worth mentioning, they released a cassette pack for the Target exclusives as well. A more toy-accurate version of Buzzsaw here, which will actually have a tape reel sticker instead of this screen. And they're going to have a blue repaint of Ravage here, which is going to be a e-hobby character. Again, with a cassette reel sticker instead of this this weird flat screen sticker. But they're still going to be the same molding, I believe. So anyway, now that we've taken a look at the paint decos and whatnot, let's take a look at the poseability. See, he has nice ratcheted shoulders, ratcheted elbows, swivel there, hips also lightly ratcheted and can go about that far back because of the sculpting, that far forward with the front skirt moving forward like that, thigh swivel, and I forgot to point out the nice detail sculpted there, and ratcheted knees that can go about 90 degrees. The ankles are ratcheted forward and back, which are a little tight and have some really interesting range of movement in the ankles due to the transformation. So, pretty nicely posable Soundwave. Although I do have to futz with the feet in order to get him to stand up. There we go. So let's take some size comparisons here. Here he is with Titans Return. Sorry. Here he is with Titans Return. Sky Shadow, about the same height. Sky Shadow's a little taller due to that fuselage on his back. Here he is next to Combiner Wars Megatron. About the same height. Here he is next to Power of the Primes Rodimus. If you're not counting the backpack, he's a little shorter than the Soundwave here. And since this is supposed to be a movie release, here he is with a movie toy. Masterpiece Movie Prime, who is a bit taller. So yeah, that is the review of Bumblebee Greatest Hits Soundwave. And as you can see, it is basically just the same toy as the Titan's Return version of Soundwave, with all the same transformation gimmicks and so on and so forth. Should you get this? Well, that really depends. If you already have the Titan's Return version, it really depends on if the remolds, resculpts, and paint deco changes really warrant getting this toy again. Whereas if you're like me and you missed out on this the first time, this is actually a really good way to get it again. Because again, who knows when we're going to actually see this mold again in stores. And I really do like the resculpts they did. This actually does look like an 80s tape deck. And of course, I would recommend getting those tape, the cassette pack that they released alongside him. But I will try to eventually review that when I ever get my hands on that. So that is my review, and I hope to see you guys again next video. Bye!